You're running full speed, but the markets are faster. Quasar Markets Live brings the world's top financial minds to you. Everything you need to know in one place. Learn from elite educators and gain a competitive edge, leveling the playing field for you. Join the conversation. Quasar Markets Live.
Good morning, everybody. Quasar Markets Live. Here we go. Listen, it's very simple. What a difference a day makes. One, earnings coming out with Microsoft yesterday tells you everything that you need to know as we go forward, that it's okay. Tech world's fine. You heard from Scott Bessent this morning, Treasury Secretary, saying, look, deals are coming. And here we go. Look at this morning, 96,400. We were having problems with Bitcoin getting over that 95,000 and 95,500 hump. And when they broke it with news, their charts are worthless because that news told you everything that you needed to know. And if you look at it right now, look at NVIDIA telling you everything. Again, up $4 a share because that's what we're happening now, right? So one of the things that I wanted to do is I wanted to change the screen here so I can see that. Okay, great. Pull it up here for you. There we go. Look, we've got lots of Twitter news coming in here. Merck is going to build $1 billion plant to expand U.S. manufacturing as tariff threats loom. Look, that's in your Quasar Markets platform, so you can go right in there. You can add Twitter news right into it. You can add stock tweets. You can add all kinds of things into it. But right now, what we're seeing here is that we are actually seeing the markets in real time telling you, hey, it's okay. The world's all right. Things are not so bad. I did not really like it. The way that the communications coming out of the White House. Hey, Market Shark, how are you, man? I like it. Yeah, not looking bad in the charts. I'll push that up there. You're absolutely right. Yeah, totally agree with you, right? Look, this new month, it could tell you a lot of things. It had been the old adage, sell in May and go away. But that's gone, right? I think that the world's changed a little bit. When you look at it from, when you say, hey, okay, what's been going on in the world? Okay, we know we have a new president. We have to think about it from that perspective. What are they saying to us? Okay, they're saying to us lately, chill out, relax. We're going to get to it. We're going to do all of these things. And, look, it's okay. We got a president who wants to change the world, but it's going to take a little bit of a time. So we got to add these tariffs, and we're going to tariff the whole world, and we're going to pull those tariffs back. Okay, well, the art of the deal, this is business, man, in a government world. Those two things are like oil and water. So it's not going to work exactly the right way. So they're figuring it out. All right, they're figuring it out. So let's get to it. Let's see how they're figuring it out. I'll stop my screen here and push some of these stuff up so we all see it. But bring some stocks to me. Let's talk about stocks this morning. I think that's we haven't really been doing that as much. So let's talk about stocks. Throw some out at me, and we'll do that too as well. But when you get right to it, look, the market looks pretty good. I'll tell you what else looks pretty good to me. If you look at it from the perspective of gold, gold's been that protection, right? We're not seeing it today, right? We're not seeing that. The gold is selling off. Silver sold off this morning. And look at oil. Oil is telling you a lot of the things that you really need to know. 56.40 a barrel this morning. That is really recession world. So look, I think the administration, when the president says, I'm not looking at the markets, don't believe that for 1 second. I believe he's totally looking at the markets. But I think that when you look at it from that perspective, he has to look it through the eyes of his team, right? What are they saying in that team? And I think the team is now saying, Mr. President, you do need to look at the markets. You need to keep your eye on the markets. But okay, 96,400 and ticker now flat on the day. But like crude here is starting to push up just a wee bit. So I like that. Whatever was being sold off this morning is now back. All right. Tesla, TSLA. Last night, Tesla kind of came out with some strange news there that we no longer want Elon Musk to be our main person as the CEO. And while he might still be on the board, there might be some issues there, right? So they are already looking for new people to replace him on the team as CEO. I can see that. I understand that, right? We're hearing reports now that Kohl's board has already terminated their CEO. So this is not new. And I think that's what I've been trying to say before it got out of that, the news came out, is that I think the month of May might be a little more disrupted than we think. And this is a good point right here, that these boards are looking at what do we need to do to survive? What do we need to do in order to change our ideas here? And I think you're going to see some changes here, CEOs, maybe some board compositions and things of that nature. And maybe we need to change our philosophy about how we get our product here. You saw that, maybe with UPS laying off 20,000 FedEx. Amazon did that years ago, right, by building their own team that delivers with Rivian, right, RIVN. And there's a lot of cool things like that I think that you're going to see in this month, because when you have these conversations around your own tech teams and your own teams, things are going to change. The world is going to change a little bit, and you need to make sure that we're on board with that. In this case, Tesla said, look, all right, CEO's been spending time in the White House with Doge, and it's hurt us a little bit. So I think maybe it's time that we have a new CEO. And so 96,500. So it looks like we're pushing up a little bit here. But you know what? I'm okay with this. I think this is good for the economy, and I think it's good. This little bit of I know everybody feels out there. Hey, Steve, the economy is not working for me right now. Okay, we understand that, right? 20,000 people laid off. What should I do? Look, I have been telling you what to do. And I don't tell you what to invest in, right? But I've shown you what I did, and what did I do? I invested in NVIDIA, and I said I'm going to hold because my thesis is you can't buy a NVIDIA card. Right? It's hard to get one. So if that's hard to get one, the margins go up, prices go up, stocks should go up. Microsoft told you that yesterday. Their margins are up. Their earnings are up. They beat, and they had a quote, quote, big beat, right? And because of that, it's pulling the whole market up with it. And you're seeing the VIX dropping a bit. All of these things I said that we needed to see happen are now happening, right? Sometimes you have to see the forest from the field. When you're looking ahead, that's what the market is. Remember, it's the mispricing of pricing. So when you're taking into effect the president and CEO of Tesla, CEO of Kohl's, right? What are they looking for in the future? What are they looking for? That's what the market is. The market itself is always 6 months or 8 months or 10 months ahead of itself. That's what you're investing in. You're not investing in what they think the price of the stock is today. It's the mispricing of pricing. I've said this 100 times. It's the mispricing of pricing. That's what a stock price does. Okay. And so when you look at it from that perspective, and that's why you have price to earnings, because the price of the stock now is to the earnings in the past, not the price to the earnings in the future. Now that's trying to catch up. So now we're seeing that. And that's why you're seeing this jump now, right? You're seeing this jump because the jump obviously is very simple because it's mispriced. They didn't get the right earnings in there. And I agree with them. That's why I agree with NVIDIA and the tech stocks, because tech is what's going to get us out of the mess. It's what got us out of the mess to last every time, pretty much. And if you look at Apple this morning, we need Apple also to do the same thing, right? We need Apple to push up a little bit. I see a little bit of selling here, down 1.5%. That to me tells me a lot of things about the overall market here right now. But NVIDIA is now up 4.5%. I think it's going to be more today if people realize that their shorts were wrong, that the zero DTEs, those people out there that were trying to time the market, the algos, were dead wrong. And now it's being proven, right? Now we're seeing it in the markets. All those people that were short got spanked last night. I heard people say, I wish I was long and not short. Right, because the malaise in the market, because all of the headlines are negative, and we have to get back to what I call the basics and fundamentals. And we have all those fundamentals, by the way, in the system. So if you're looking for fundamentals, we have all of that in there. And you should probably, I'll go back to that screen here as well. I'll throw me right there in the picture, and I'll present the screen again. There we go. But we have everything in this situation, right? And I'll tell you, when I look at the markets in general, and you can see that we've got, there you go, Apple down pre-market, down 1.47%. That's a problem, right, to me, right? And you can see how slow the market is moving this morning, that they're not even sure. We do have some earnings or some numbers coming out this morning at 9:30. We are expecting some S&P global manufacturing for Canada, and then global manufacturing for us, United States, here at 9:45. So I am keeping my eye on that. And I am also keeping my eye here on inflation around the LATAM area. But then, of course, we will have at 10 o'clock some the truck sales and car sales. And I want to know Are the tariffs having an issue? Is it hitting the car and truck situation here? Are they being front run? So there's some news coming out this morning. I think that's important. We have some market movers, some gainers and decliners this morning as well. I think I've already got the filters already on, and then that'll be coming on here in about 20 minutes. And then some Google Trends. I want to show you. We also have Google Trends around the world too. Mark Kerr right now is trending. We'll move this up to the United States a bit here. Why is this important that you guys see United States Google Trends? I want to know what people are looking at. Right now, most viewed bullish is NVIDIA and Amazon this morning. You can see my watch list this morning as well. You can see I do a lot of demos for what's going on in the world. But yeah, here we go. We'll pull it up a little bit. There we go. Stop sharing here. There we go, and back to it. There we go. And okay, got some news coming out here. Press Secretary Carolyn Levitt and Stephen Miller are going to brief the members of the media this morning. So we are going to have a presser this morning. Looks like the mouthpieces of the Steve Miller and Carolyn Levitt will be briefing this morning. I'll post that here too as well. Howard will be back tomorrow. We're looking forward to seeing my boy. He'll be here tomorrow. Back at it. All right. Keeping our eyes here. Yeah, we're hearing from. We're seeing now that McDonald's MCD global sales posting a surprise drop as tariff chaos hits consumer confidence. Look, these headlines that we're seeing now. If you've been with us, you know that we saw all of these things, right? We've been at this for a while, and there it is, right? So we've been talking about this. I knew McDonald's, I knew these places that, and I don't think it's just the tariffs. I also think it has to do with weight loss drugs. So these theses have been telling us just about everything we need to know, and so I still think McDonald's still slips here a bit. All right, any stocks out there you guys are looking at? Hit me up with them. I'm happy to go over them this morning. Good morning. Goodness only. How are you? Sorry, I missed that. There you go. Boom. Thank you. Yeah, good morning to you too as well. Market Shark also saying good morning. Hey, sorry, I didn't see these messages. Running the show today by myself. I love this. I love this going at it. But miss my boy Howard Hondo out there, and he'll be back tomorrow. All right, let's get right to it. Looking at let's say Bitcoin 96,500. We're pushing here a little bit on Bitcoin here. I'll pull up some of my charts as well. I think everybody wants to get to my charts because now I do think that charting is important. I am saying that now. Now pull up. I'll present on my charts too. Get them right out of Quasar Markets. All the charting is in there too as well. I have several different charts. My charts look a little bit different than Howard's. I have a lot of things on my charts. This is the Dow Jones Industrial Average this morning. And it looks like we're going to be right there with them. I'm going to pull up BTC dollar. There we go. And here we go. Look, there it is. You can see it. And we're not slowing down. There's the power behind Bitcoin this morning is probably going to destroy all the shorts. Yes, I have Bollinger Bands on it. Yes, I have histograms on it. Yes, I have RSI. I might be getting a little heavy here. And on balance volume. There's a lot of things here that I have. When people say, well, you don't talk about charts as much. Well, it's because I right now I don't think that charts are that important right now. Now I do. Now that a lot more news is out there, you'll see here that we have Elliott Wave also on my charts, and I also know where the sellers are. Look at that. There's a lot of sellers up here at 96.5. We need a breakthrough here, and we'll go right on up. And I think we can see that. There's the pinpoint right there this morning where I thought Bitcoin could go up. So. For those of you who may not think I like charts, I've been doing charts probably longer than most people have been alive. I'm going to pull something else up here. I'm going to pull up the Disney chart so everybody can see my Disney chart. There we go. People have been asking me, why Disney? Why are you on Disney? Because we're getting in the summer, which is my thesis, and the prices are going to go up in 2026. Yes, I get it that we have a recession coming and all that. People still go to Disney World, still go to Universal, by the way. That does not stop. People still watching the shows. Yeah. But look at this buying this morning. I like this. This is the 1 hour chart. If you know me, I'm a Wall Street person. 3 hour chart, and you'll notice I have a 3 minute chart on my screens. There's a reason for that, right? And that 3 minute chart and three hour chart is what Wall Street uses. They use that because it's easier to see because the markets are broken up into 9 hours, and there's 3, 3, and 3. That's why they do that. So for those of you who don't know, 3 and 3s are an important number in the markets. Also, IBM. I like IBM, as most people know. Over the last few days, we saw IBM completely sell off on those earnings, and the guidance wasn't great. But we did see that they're going to be bringing back some manufacturing back in the States. We heard that from their CEO. And guess what? Right back up it went. There's the earnings. That's what I'm saying. I think that there's so much cash on the sidelines that anytime things get sold off, that we're going to go right back up. We're seeing that, right? And you'll see I have Albemarle. Both myself and Howard have been talking about Albemarle on the show at least for the last, I don't know, 3 weeks. Why? Because they're the diggers. They're the ones that go out there and they're going to get these things, rare earths out of the ground. And we've been talking about it for the last few months, from 50 to 60. Well, there's your 15% return, right? So that's why I'm saying, like, the world is not ending just yet, and it's not always about charts. It's also, I've also talked to you about Eli Lilly over the last few weeks because of the weight loss drugs. I think that the weight loss drugs has made its run. For those of you who know, I said back in here that I like this down here, down the 700s. We're back to 850. 900 yesterday. I really like that a lot. I know that they came out with some, they got some more issues. Ford April sales coming at up 16%. See, there you go. They were front running. We'll pull that chart up right now. They were front running these cars before the tariffs. So I think that's what we've been saying, that I think that these cars are going up. And I think that you might see a pretty good run here now in Ford. Surge in vehicles were really good. Look, these jobless claims were 241,000 this morning versus 224 expected. We've been talking about it, right? That, look, recession's coming. So there's some mixed signals out there, and that's why I think people are concerned. We have a president who's not getting his deals done yet. Okay, we're hearing now reports that Ukraine's military has carried out an attack on Russian troops in the Kherson region. I'll post that too here as well. Add the banner there. There it is. Ukraine now carrying out a major one here. And of course, now or earlier this morning, jobless claims coming in way bigger than expected. So recession numbers are coming out. Yesterday, you saw where GDP minus 0.3%. These are all recession numbers. But yet you're seeing good numbers come out of Ford and Microsoft because of being front run because of tariffs. They might listen. I need to load up on Microsoft's software. I need to get my truck before tariffs come into play. And so I think that's what you're seeing now. I think you're seeing General Motors, GM now up almost 4% here early morning here. I think you're going to see all kinds of things going to push here. Look at that. General Motors up 3.67%. These companies are going to do well because why? I think a lot of people are out there buying their cars here in the United States now. Let's look at that. Let's look at Toyota Motors. We know that Toyota Motors has had a nice run. I think profit taking was probably very smart. You can see up here profit taking because I think that they're pretty much going to get hit if tariffs go on in Japan, right? Yes, I know that we're Toyota Motors made in Georgetown, Kentucky. I'm aware. I've been through this several times. I have a lot of family there. Okay, but let's get right to it. Healthcare stocks have been on a run. GlaxoSmithKline is one of them I've been keeping my eye on in the shorts. I like biotech, as you know, in the last few months, but I'm starting to see that a little bit. If you watched my show the other day on Schwab Network, my interview on Schwab Network, I was talking about Royal Caribbean. Yesterday's sell-off was completely silly. Right back up it went. By the end of the day, it was only down 0.7%, and this morning it's now back all the way. I think they'll continue to do very well. I think what you saw where JP Morgan and a few companies cut back a little bit on the price targets. Still thinking $300, right? $292. So we still got room to run on these cruise lines, and cruise is doing very well. I did mention, we did talk about NCLH. Their earnings were really bad, but look at that. If you when it was down 10% and you bought it down there and you picked it up, look, you're already up almost 3% already in 2 days. So there's so much money on the sidelines that anything is bad in the markets and it hits something, they're buying that up. Now, you'll notice that I have been talking about one stock since $7.50 a share, and that's Netflix. Why? My thesis was still the same. Today, the stock's at $11.31. I've said anything under 1,000 is a buy. You're up 13% already. If you listen to me, anything, if you had just bought at 1,000, if it was at 850 or 900, that's what I'm saying to people, right? Look, stocks are going to get beaten up over time. Let's talk about that right behind it. Starbucks. Look at this. Yesterday, the stock got beat up almost 6%. Why? Well, they gave you some numbers, right? But all of a sudden, it's right back up. That's what I'm saying. Again, I want to reiterate that anything getting beaten up, there's so much cash on the sidelines that things are happening. So let's pull up Tesla. Everybody wants to talk about Tesla. Let's do that. And let's pull up a daily chart on Tesla. All right, I have a daily chart on Tesla. I'm going to try to remove some of these lines for you guys so we can unlock the object tree, turn the template off. There we go. And then you can see it right in here. And right in there. This is where the pullback is happening. I think we might get back to 200 a day. If we do that, then I think we run a little further on up. You can see I have the Bollinger Bands on. They're widening. What does that usually mean? That means when they widen, see how it widens up here? That means the stock's going to push back up. And it's widening just a bit. You can see when they get tighter that it usually holds the stock price down, and we're seeing that now. This is a daily chart. I'm looking at the weekly chart, and I think this is why I think a lot of people are concerned about the CEO now, Elon. I like Elon. I think he's done some good things. I think he's done some silly things. But you can see here, we've got, if you can see that in my chart, we've got 3 spinning candles here on the weeklies. It can't break out. I think we're going to have a breakout to the upside, especially if they hire a CEO that people like. I think you're going to see a breakout, and I think the sell-off is a little overcooked. So if you have a longer time frame, and I think that's what people should have right now, especially considering all the markets, then I think that's interesting to me. This is very interesting. Tesla to the upside. I like it here to the upside. Yesterday, you saw SMCI down almost 20% in the morning. Guess what? If you picked it up somewhere around there, same situation. It's already up 9% from yesterday and up another 0.6%. So you're back up 10%, and that's on SMCI. I don't like SMCI. Most people ask me about SMCI. Like, I want to pick it up, Steve. Problem is still saying they've got issues over at SMCI. I still don't like that. I'm not a big fan of it, but I understand it. And Melly is another one, right? Back in the day when Melly was under 1,000, I said, look, I think I like Melly under 1,000, which would be right about here. It was just running. What did I say on the other stocks? When the Bollinger Bands were widening, boom, there you go. This is when you use charts. Your charts aren't just a one-time chart. It's not just, let's look at VWAP. Let's look at one little thing on a chart. It's not it's not even just charting. It's everything. You need to have a much well-rounded picture. You'll be a much better trader and a much better investor. I don't want you to be a trader. I want you to be an investor. I want you to make longer term wealth. And that's what I mean. I think Howard and I talk about it all the time here on the show, is that I'm in NVIDIA. I'm heavy in NVIDIA, right? You all saw me do it live on the show. And when it got down, I didn't get nervous. See here, these 3 bands down the bottom down here. I didn't get nervous when we got under 100 because I think we're going to go over 100. It did, right? Why? Because and now look at this. This is a weekly chart on NVIDIA, and this sucker's turning. And the bands are widening, and RSI is turning, and everything is turning. If you have a longer term thesis on NVIDIA, I think we go back up. I think we could go back to 160. There it is. There's your shot to the next move is 151. I think we get back up there. I think we can go to 200 because you can't. Why? Because my thesis hasn't changed. You can't get an NVIDIA. You can't buy a chipset. So we got about 5 minutes to the open here. Look, let's look at the first moves in this market. We'll watch them all together. We'll pull up a 1-second chart here. We'll get a good idea. Look, you're going to start seeing a little bit of profit taking in early. I don't think that's the case. We'll see what the algos do. Probably some more profit taking because they're silly. And then we go do what we have been doing every single day is melting up. Why? Because there's cash in the sidelines. Why? Because the world isn't ending tomorrow. Meteorites aren't hitting the earth just yet. So I get that. So it looks like Antonio Costa is posting about Petros Pharmaceuticals here. Let's pull that up for you, so you guys can see what's going on. News coming out of Petros Pharmaceuticals. There we go. All right. Greg Harmon's got an idea here. He likes the selling the Microsoft's May 2nd strangle here. If you know how to put a strangle on, we can walk through that too as well. I'll post that for you guys so you can see it here as well. He's laying down a Microsoft trade idea. Sell the May Xperia May 2nd. So that is tomorrow. So those zero deets, a strangle for 230 credit. He likes these, and so that you can roll the calls up, meaning meaning he's very, very bullish on this. But if he needs this, he's selling more puts to buy them back, right? So he's very bullish, right? But he's not quite sure, so he's strangling it. So if it goes above, he's loving this. I like this idea. So if you're watching, he's very bullish on Microsoft this morning. We can pull Microsoft stock up and see what he's thinking here. There you go. Yeah, I can see what I'm saying. NVIDIA the same way. Look at that down there. Look at this. Look at these. These are telling you on the weekly charts, turning around. And he likes it for the May 2nd. So he is really bullish, and I can see why. It totally makes sense here. He's probably testing the top there. I think he's absolutely right. And I'll look at it from the 3 hour, right? 3 hour cruise. Yeah, he's right. So he's saying, yeah, I'd probably get back to the 4. Yeah, he's saying that, yeah, by tomorrow. He's talking about some pretty heavy move here. All right, I totally get it. Well, okay, I see what you're looking at, Greg. And he's also CFA and CMT, so I like that too. That tells you that he actually knows. All right, looking at the news here, there's quite a bit of news flowing in this morning, but you can see what I'm seeing now firsthand here. There's AMD, more chipsets, right? The chipsets are up 2% because Microsoft's telling you that the world isn't ending, tech is still working, and I like this. And let's look at a monthly chart. Yeah, the monthly chart, the daily chart, and the weekly chart, they're converging. I think we might have a very good next few days here in the markets here. So, yeah. All right, it's kind of quiet this morning here. I get it. The markets are kind of, we'll keep our eye here on Bitcoin here as of this morning, because I think Bitcoin is kind of a referendum on the feeling of the retail right now. And I am seeing a lot of buyers in the retail sector. We need our Howard here to tell us about Bitcoin, right, and crypto. But so far, I'm very, very bullish this morning. I think 96.8 now is 96.78, somewhere around this, as we need to break above that to keep pushing here. But I like that. Right now on CNBC, we're talking about ServiceNow, NOW. Kramer is mentioning ServiceNow, so we can probably keep our eye on ServiceNow. Hearing reports now that a snake has caused the Japan's bullet train service disruptions this morning. If you know anything about that, I like the Shinkansen. That's the bullet train in Japan. I love riding that thing. It's fast. But there you go. These are things that we need to think about when we are building it here too as well. Bitcoin's slipping just a little bit here. Let's look at that 1 minute chart. Are we seeing it? Yeah, just a little bit here, trying to pull back just a wee bit as 1 minute now until the open here. We'll pull up the NASDAQ here because I think that's what we need to see, and I'll pull up a 1 second chart. All right, we're open now. First move now seems to be muted. Okay, we're seeing a little bit. Yeah, it's just muted here. I think that the early mornings, algos are trying to attack it, but I don't think that, I'm not really seeing that in the VIX is slowing down. So I don't see anything here. I think this could be a melt up kind of day, as they can't seem to figure it out what they're doing here. Yeah. Volume is slow, not seeing heavy volume. See the volume there is not much. See, this is the morning volume as algos were setting up. Nothing changing here. All right. Let's see what we see. All right. Boom. Algo setting up, and here we go. 8. Yeah. First move is not always the right move. There you go. Okay, that's what we thought. We thought they were setting up for a bullish move, but not quite there. Let's see what those algos do here this morning. Algos are all over the map right now. So I'm not really seeing much of a move here. It's a very muted morning here. Nasdaq's up 120 points here. There might be some profit taking, but I don't see that right now. I see probably going the upside here on this. And I think whatever the first move here, I think we melt up the rest of the day, as that's where cash is moving to. White House advisor Miller says relief for small businesses will come in form of tax cuts. So, all right, going to give us some tax cuts. I'm not sure where they're going to pull it from. I think they're going to say they're going to get it from the tariffs. I don't know if that's the case, but that's what they're saying. Right now, we're hearing South Korea's parliament has raised the motion to impeach their finance minister in South Korea. This is what I've been saying. I think that they're going to take this time, companies and countries, the month of May, to make some changes here as tariffs start to fit, as things happen. So, okay, nope. The South Korea finance minister has actually resigned now, according to Jan Happ. So there you go. He has actually resigned. That could be a negative on the markets, as we always want to see our trade partners, especially the finance world. Okay, starting to see a little bit of selling here. Probably profit taking. I'm not seeing anything more than that. Yeah, although I don't like this news hitting the South Korea Parliament and minister. That's one of our big trading partners, South Korea. I also don't like the just having taxes relief for businesses. There's got to be more than that for businesses. I think that's not quite the right direction. We need to give them better move. There you go, Mayos. Yeah, right. Now, there we go. So I'm just not seeing it yet. Maybe some flushing it out a little bit. That algo flushed it out with the. There you go. This is why I use charts now, because I think we're almost there, and pull it so it's clear for you. But there we go. Yeah, it's the algos here right now. So, but he doesn't. As we're hearing now, reports that White House advisor Miller now says Americans won't pay more on cars. Okay, not sure how you're going to do that if you have tariffs. Are you going to give them tariff relief for the automakers? Yeah. Microsoft is the big winner this morning so far, right? Microsoft now up 10% here. We know that, right? We know that Microsoft is the winner here because the earnings are beating. They gave amazing guidance, and we're still going. So I like this. Algos are trying to follow suit. I mean, you can see Meta up 6.4%. You're seeing Amazon up 3%. These are all the stocks that we've been talking about here. Micron up 3%. So the tech stocks are what's going to pull us out of this. Doge up 3.76%. Okay, gotcha. MSTR there with Bitcoin. I'm sure they're happy they're over there. 96.4 now on Bitcoin. So a little bit of profit taking on Bitcoin here, as they're also doing the same thing. The ETFs are picking up the speed a little bit. I think they're wrong. I think, look, for those of us who are in here in this room, if you're with me, you bought at 77.2. You knew that. Look at us, 96,474. I'm not getting out at 97.2. As you know, I took up some profit back at 91. And I put that money right back in. Why? Because the news changed, not because of my shares. Qualcomm now dropping 8% on the revenue because their numbers were bad. Money coming out of Qualcomm is going into Microsoft, right? So, you see that's not based on anything on a chart. That's based on the news, right? Earnings. So you use your charts to tell you where things have been and where things are going, but not because we know. Right now, I think that there's the selling needs to stop here in Bitcoin, because I think people are wrong on this. I think the profit taking is a little strong, so we'll see how that goes. But remember, this is a 1 second chart, so Bitcoin moves. You can see on my charts how I got those Bollinger Bands. They're widening, right? So that means it should turn around the 1 second charts. There they are, the green shoots coming in as it widens. All right, keeping our eyes peeled here like a Navy SEAL. All right, there you go. Charles Schwab CEO Rick Wurster now saying the firm will launch crypto trading within 12 months in the system. We know that, right? And that's what we want to see. We want to see more adoption of crypto, and we like that. This is where we are in the world. The world's changing, and you're now seeing the firms change with it. That's what we want to see. Yeah, 96.3. I think it tested that bottom down there. Let's see the bottoms, those volumes. Let's pull up a 1 hour chart and see if anything has changed on this 1 hour chart. And I think the answer probably is no. Yeah. All right. We know that it's made a nice run over broken out of all the highs here. We get that. That's where we were, and we've broken out. So I think, maybe I test again, because that's what people do, because they're so nervous and scared. But I'm not. So. And I think the first move here in the early ETFs, profit taking is probably just wrong. And there you go. It tested that numbers down there. Okay, great. It is tightening a bit. And so we're seeing a little bit of selling on the Bollinger Bands. We're also seeing some selling on the RSI. The MACD signals also showed you on the 1 minute chart. But let's get past this 1 minute and not trade like a 1 minute idiot. That's what I call the 1 minute idiots. Okay. All right, we're seeing HWM new highs here. HWM there, Howmet Aerospace up 5.6%. Aerospace has been very good here. ASTS, AST space is taking a little bit of a hit, but if you notice them on the 1 hour chart over the last few days, we'll pull up a 3-minute chart too as well. Have done very, very well. That stock has run pretty well. If you look at a 1 hour chart, same thing, 21 to 25. I think we go higher on AST. I like them. If those of you know me, I do like LUNR, which is Intuitive Machines, and I think that stock is starting to bottom out a bit. You saw that a few days ago, right down here around 650. You'd already done quite well here, so I have been keeping my eye on Lunar as well. Throw some stocks out at me if you want. Well, let's talk about it and see what else is shaking out there. But right now, let's get back to it. Tesla, as we said, right? I think once we hear from these news that Elon's okay with it. He's got a lot of things on his plate, right? He's got space and he's got right here on Twitter. Love it on Twitter, right? Loving that too as well. That Tesla's trying to do the right thing here, so it's pushing up here. Nothing to do with your charts. All right. But the rest of the market right now is kind of holding out. Dow's up 229, Nasdaq's up 100. And Bitcoin, what I say? Chill out. Watch it. It'll be okay. And here we go. It's 1 minute chart back on it. Yeah. And we are 96.4 here now. All right. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. And I think we could make another run to the highs here very soon. Testing that 96.7 here on this 1 minute chart. Could do that pretty quickly. It could happen real quickly. It looks like could happen very, very quickly. Don't forget we have ISM numbers coming up at the top of the hour as well. And we'll pull those numbers out for you as well. Yeah, lots going on up here. I think the news finally has slowed down just a wee bit here, and I think I like this. I like this catch up here a little bit. Nasdaq up 92, still some slippage here, but okay, 20. Yeah, but I don't see anything in here in the world that I just is changing here. Gold 32.28, and we see silver 32.36. Look at that 32 number. That's interesting. Cocoa still slipping here, 86.97. Okay, there you go. Time frame moving average is pulled down a bit. Those of you, you can keep your eyes on all of my things I have out there so that I know where the Bollinger Band lines are. It helps me visualize where the upper and the basis line is. It helps me visualize so I don't have to go back to this chart and look at it 20,000 times. We're hearing reports that, Microsoft will raise their prices on Xbox consoles, games, accessories. Based on one thing we've been talking about, tariffs, and it will happen for the holidays. Some games will actually be $80. Whew. That's a lot for them. So yeah, totally understand. Tariffs are going to start hitting if we don't change those numbers fast. All right, continue to push here. I want to pull up a silver chart. I think somebody told me the other day, silver is there's not enough silver in the world. I mean, there's too much of it, or there's just not enough of it. I hear all that. Look, there's lots of silver in the ground. Mexico is there. You see where the upper line, the bottom line is, so it's widening a bit. But if I pull up this is the daily chart. Look, this is where silver is. People ask me all the time, why do you say $43 an ounce? This is why. Right now, 35.52 is a hard line. If you go on up to the 43, this is where it's at. See this right in here? This is where it's at. So, boom. This is why I think 43 is where it's going to go to, right in here somewhere. 40 to 43 is what I'm saying. But it's going to take some testing. It's going to take some news as well to make that happen. But so far, we're still there. Look at this. And look, I mean, what I'm saying, Bitcoin not moving here. It's holding here because I think that people that wanted out are out, and people that wanted in are in. And I think right now you're seeing the profit taking here. But look, if you ask me, this is a weekly chart of Bitcoin. There it is, baby. There it is. Look at that MACD. Look at the MACD signals. They're all telling you. Look at this. The RSI line crossed. You're seeing on balance volume. You're seeing shorts and sales are slowing up. news is changing. I think probably the next few weeks we're going to see Bitcoin back to 100,000 or more, because I think we're seeing now Nasdaq pulling back. Now look at that, only up 51 points. So the sellers are trying to test you, see if you have more metal than you don't. I mean, TTLE, yes, pun intended. All right, comments are coming in now. Make sure I check my comments here. What about Apple announcing earnings today? Yeah, Paul, I'll put that up there. Thanks for the. I like that. Let's pull up Apple. Let's pull up Apple. If Microsoft beat on earnings, I think you're probably going to say Apple will beat on earnings too, right? I think some of the things that Satya Nadella was saying, I think Tim Cook is going to say the same thing. Look, the futures, we don't know about the future, but we're changing our tune a little bit, moving manufacturing. It was interesting that Trump called Tim Cook personally. I like that about the president. He doesn't just wait to hear from the business. He doesn't create a business roundtable. He picks the phone up and calls the CEO. I like that. Right? Let's go find out I'm the president of the United States. This is the major company in the world. Let's go find out what they're thinking. And Tim Cook told you that. He said, look, I can't move my manufacturing back to the United States. I need a few things. I need a robotic arm. He's telling you that robots in the future are what he's looking to invest in. Okay, I want to hear Tim Cook say that after the earnings. Yes, to answer your question, I think earnings are going to be very strong, and I think they're going to have a beat. And I think people are. Now, if you look at it from the perspective of a daily chart, right? I think that some of this daily chart already told you that, right? If you know me and you're watching the show the last few weeks, you'll know that I actually was very bullish down here because I thought capitulation had happened. And I think some of these tech firms was also saying, okay, you know what? We don't know what else to do with our money. So what are we going to do with it? Let's buy our own stock back, right? So the buybacks were very heavy over the last few weeks. You saw that in a lot of major companies. And you saw internally, you saw a lot of companies, some of their insiders were selling, but the company themselves were buying those shares back because they thought they were cheap, right? So I like this. I think probably if you look at it right here, and I'll make it very wide, there is a huge gap that's trying to fill. The first gap got filled. I think the second gap could easily get filled, 216. And if that's the case, I think Apple could get back all the way to this next gap up here to 236, maybe the next few weeks or 2 weeks. There you go. Okay, CVS just raised their EPS guidance this morning. I like that to $6 from $5.91. That's what the consensus there. Okay, so CVS changing their tune. What I've been talking about all morning. I think you're going to see these companies go, okay, you know what? Things aren't working the way they have been in the past. The president's changing his tune when it comes to tariffs. What do I need to do to make this thing happen? All right, well, there you go. So they're saying, let's change CEOs. Let's do some stock buybacks. Let's front run these tariffs. And all of these things are starting to work. So I think the money is saying, okay, you know what? The future is not as bright or as clear as I had been seeing. But, okay, great. Let's do something for our company. And they're doing that. So I think we're seeing that CVS changing their tune a little bit. Let's keep our eye here on Bitcoin. Still the same. Yeah, NASDAQ, yeah, it was down. It was only up $50. Now it's up 91 points here. 50, sorry about points, not bucks. Bitcoin here, 96,002. So it's holding here. And NVIDIA is holding up here. And the VIX 63, the VXX, I like it because it's short term, is holding here down 2%. That's good. If that stays low, I think we're good. Some people were saying, hey, I want to beach my Ethereum at 1,800. Look at 1,834 now. I don't think so. I think we continue to push. Yeah, we're still seeing gold still slipping here, and oil $58.50 a barrel. This morning is $56 a barrel. Look, anything under 60, I mean, this thing needs to happen. All right, S&P manufacturing PMI now coming in at 50.2. 50.5 was what we forecasted. Previous week was 50.7. So we know for a fact right now that a contraction is very close in manufacturing. Yeah. That's interesting to me, right? That these numbers coming out here. Global manufacturing right now 50.2 versus 50.7. Those numbers there are, if we get below 50, if you don't know, if you get below 50, that's contraction. That means that there's no manufacturing, and that we don't want to see that. Now, why is the market reacting the way they are? Because I think, quite frankly, I think that they're thinking that we'll probably, right, probably have to get the Fed to cut rates. I think that's what you're seeing now. So I think once that news has come out, I think that the algos got it wrong again. Bad news probably is bad news right now. Yeah, that's strong buying down there. Any dips are being bought up right now. That's a strong day here. I hope that answers your question out there, Paul. Be like that. Not come bring it to me. I'll ask me more questions. I love it. I love it. Bring it on. That's what I do here. I've been doing this 34 years, folks. 34 years. Yep, Dow holding here is pretty steady here, up 190 points. There it is. Yep. Yep, and you can see the news is popping up there on TradingView. We had that news for you here in Quasar Markets. Quicker. Yeah, 96.2 now back on Bitcoin. So I think we continue to push on higher. Everything's being bought up. Every dip is being bought. That's very bullish. I think once we get this last bit of news out here, I'll pull up a 1 minute chart. Look at that. I think the 1 minute chart's telling us buyers are stepping back again. Yeah, there you go. I like this. If you want that PMI report, I'll get the PMI for you. I like taking those reports and shoving them into into AI. So we have an AI too as well. But if you want the link there, I'll give you there's your link there. Yeah, but I think the market's kind of chilled out a little bit. There's NASDAQ still pushing higher there. Yeah, I mean, I think if we look at the CME Fed tool here, we'll pull that tool up here for everybody to see it right there. Look, the target right now, the quarter point's coming, baby. I think I think we're going to see 25 basis points cut here in the next meeting here. Let's look at the yeah, there it is, another 25 basis points there in the June meeting, and in July, yeah, another 25 basis points cut there, and in September, yeah, another 25 basis points, and yeah, still thinking there. They think 4 cuts now. They would say this 5 cuts this year, and they're not quite sure. So they're basing in 4 to 5 cuts till the end of the year. So I think that's what you're saying when we say that. Yeah. All right, for all of these out there, if you do me a favor, if you're following us for the first time and you're not got an account here with Quasar Markets, please do that. Right up there in the very right-hand corner, you'll see Get Started. Click that button up there, and you can get yourself a free account here at Quasar Markets. Look, if you want to get rid of those pesky ads, it's only $15 a month. My goodness, I think Starbucks now is $15 a month. Yeah, we're an award-winning firm. We have education going on here. We've got pretty much everything. All the news you see we're showing you also is here. And you can, if you're an educator out there and you're teaching as well, you can also become an educator too as well. But all the data is here. We can do this in news, sports, weather, finance, and everything, right? Your desktop, tablet, mobile, Vision Pro, Oculus. We've also got great reviews from some of our users. We have an amazing team. And then, of course, if you want to see more videos of me, I'm sure they're up there. But you can get a good walkthrough of the platform right here, right? This gives you a good walkthrough what we do. You'll see all the articles on us. And do yourself a favor, subscribe to our newsletter. Our newsletter is done by AI. It's in real time all the time. And I like that, right? There's the exclusive interview. My old company, Benzinga, right? I love that. Okay, let's get to it. And we'll share this tab instead. And right now, market movers, we're seeing in the gainers right now. Zcar up 234%. Kids, we're seeing, oh, there you go. Chab, there you go. Up 29%. So we got some big movers here. We have all of that decliners in the system. Most active by volume. We know Microsoft is up, Meta's up. We know Nvidia is up. We get all of that. Most active by volume right now. Look at this one here. Oof. It's all sortable, by the way. So you can do all of that too as well. We've got over 300 modules inside this system and growing. We'll have even more for you soon. So I would, do that. Do yourself a favor and get. And if you haven't already, some of you are already here. I'll show you this too as well. You also want to click on the Twitter. If you're here by somewhere else, by LinkedIn or whatever, make sure you click on our it's at Quasar Markets here in the Twitter sphere. You can watch us on the show if you're not live here. You can see, there you go. There's the live show there in the morning. You can also see, you can also see what's going on, like some of the posts that we make, and we post them all over, right? We don't just post Quasar Market stuff. We post from other companies. We think that if they're good out there and they got some good data and good news, I want to get that out there to people. So we have a whole team around that does that too as well. All right, I got about 8 minutes now going into the top of the hour here. Some more data coming up, and we'll pull up these charts again because I think everybody wants to see my charts. So I will do that as well. Go back to the charts. Here we go. And and still not much changed, right? I mean, I think that's part of it, right? That the world is slowing down. I think the volume is, look at the volume here this morning on the 1 minute chart, really slow. I think they're waiting. I get it. There's probably a little bit of selling here up here on the NASDAQ. But I think we're at it. I think we're at where we need to be. And I think the news is good. All right, I'm feeling pretty good. Will it be a melt up day? I don't think so. I think I think we'll have another choppy session like we had the last few days. I think that's part of what we're at right now. But coming forward, I think this could be one of those days where, if you have a stock that you like, throw it out. I mean, if you have a good thesis, explain to me your thesis. We'll walk through that, right? I'll say, okay, look, this is why I think you're right or you're wrong. And just debate that. I love that stuff. Love it, love it, love it. Ethereum still pushing here a little bit. I like that. Dollar yen, we hear on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Man, listen, we've got Steve Flanagan here, former head of all of JP Morgan's Forex desk, is actually here on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 o'clock, right? And he's giving you pretty good info. So he's right. Dollar yen, there it is, 144. I got rid of a lot of my yen at 155. As I was buying on the dollar to the yen, I was buying it up there, and I'm glad to see that. Because now when I go back to Japan, I'll be good. Dollar CAD here, the loonie, Canadian dollar, probably flat on the day as the dollar seems to be all over the place, all over the map this morning here. CrowdStrike up 1%. But look at the Albemarle. We talked about Albemarle yesterday, right? These diggers are going to be out there. So there they are, right? So Albemarle's up 6.6%. All you do is listen to us in the mornings. Eli Lilly still getting smacked here a little bit. Doge still up 3%. And there's Lunar, my fave when it comes to that stuff. I've been talking about Nike for a while now. I really do like Nike. Look at this Dixie now, 99.63. So, and there's Nintendo up 1%. I've been talking about Nintendo for a while too, as well here. So, let's get back to that Bitcoin, because I think Bitcoin here now breaking 96,000 underneath. I don't like that too much. But let's see if those buyers will stay in there. That's still holding that line there, and the Bollinger Band are tightening a bit. So that's probably why we're seeing a little bit of profit taking. Volume is picking up just a wee bit, but it seems that we're holding here at 96,000. Let's see if we can hold here. And if we do, I think we go right back up. But I think people selling it's a little premature to sell here. I get it. There's probably some miners that are needing to take some profit, and there's a lot of us that are in there at 72,000. So yeah, I like that too. I got about 5 minutes at the top of the hour here. Got some news coming. Let's see if we can hold here on Bitcoin here. I'd like to see a little bit of holding here. The sellers still seem to be wanting to take some profit here, and shorts are trying to get in there. I just would not be short anywhere. If you've been listening to this, me and Howard over the last few weeks, I've said it a million times. I would not be short the markets in crypto. It's just not a place that I like. I like it to the upside. I know that it's volatile right now, but 77.2. That I thought that capitulation was pretty strong. So there we are. Anybody else got anything out there? Come on, bring me something here, and let's talk about it. There you go, 96,000. Yeah, there's a little bit of a pop there. I had a feeling the sellers were a little too premature on this, and we're seeing some holding down here in the bottom of that Bollinger line. If you're not talking about Bollinger Bands right now, if you're only talking about SMA and Golden Crosses, and I get all that. I know I teach that stuff, right? But right now, Bollinger Bands are very strong right now in the charting, and I think everybody should have Bollinger Bands on your charts, because I think a lot of people don't really understand right now. But the volume is starting to creep up a bit. Bollinger Bands is it's one of my favorites in this time frame. If your charts look the same, as I always say, if it looked the same as it did 3 weeks ago, you're doing it wrong. You need to change your charts up to make sure that they match what the market's doing. You need to understand your technical indicators on there. If you have the same technical indicator on that you had on 6 months ago, oh my God, you are definitely not happy here. Sorry, I got several charts going on at the same time here. All right, here we go. Got about 2 minutes now into top of the hour here. And I think that they're preparing for the top of the hour for that news. So we will get right to the news here. I will stop my screen here. There we go. And I will get back to what the news is, so that we can pick up those data points as they come out at 10 at top of the hour. So let's get to that right now. Got about a minute and a half here now into that, and I will pull up some of the news here. So I think the news has been pretty muted this morning. Yeah, I'm not seeing much here in the mornings. The news right now is kind of slowed down, waiting on that data points coming in. Yeah. Of course, we're waiting on we're waiting on, these ISM manufacturing numbers, new orders, of course, and PMI numbers as well for ISM. We saw the S&P numbers earlier, 15 minutes ago. And we're expecting in these forecasts there for PMI will be 48. So they're expecting a big contraction in PMI for manufacturing. So if it's less than 48, that's really bad. And if that's the case, then I expect the Fed to really cut rates. And I think we should keep your eye on that CME Fed tool. That really helps will help you out there. If you don't know how to get to that CME Fed tool, I will post that in here for you so you can see it, so that you can also follow along and understand and become a much better trader too as well. So there you go. There's your CME Fed tool. You can click on it yourself and keep your own eyes on it. But right now, they're saying that we're going to get a cut, pretty much coming up in May and June. So we'll see, and then all the way out. There's a question mark around December. We're not quite there yet. This is only May 1st, right? So. All right, got about a minute here. Yeah, South Korea Assembly Speaker now says he is suspending the voting on Choi's impeachment following his resignation. So that was quick. They really got him. They got kicked out fast there. He must have done something. All right, here we go. Numbers coming in now. Yeah. And of course, we're hearing once again jobless claims rising to the highest level since October, right? This is not good. So while I'm saying that there's money out there that are buying the dips, selling the dips isn't too bad either. If you make some money, take it. I like that. All right, here we go. 10 o'clock coming in now. We're seeing the new numbers coming in. ISM manufacturing coming in at 48.7. That is better than the expected 48. So yeah, okay, 48.7. I like that. Just a hair bit better than what we were expecting. ISM manufacturing now, the consensus for March was 49. I'll make that post here too as well. Boom. There you go. And I'll share my screen here real quickly before we jump out of here. Yeah, I think that the muted system, there we go, muted system here. Look at that, only up 62. So we know that numbers were not good. But let's see if the buyers step in here, and we'll stick around until that happens. and see if I'm right, and see if people start to think that bad news is good news. If not, then we'll know. But yeah, new orders coming in at 47.2. So look, it's a hair bit better, right? There's numbers again. All right, it's a hair bit better than expected. Less than what the 49 in March, right? We know that. There you go. It's for April. And again, new orders coming in just a little bit. So it means that companies are not quite feeling the pain yet because they feel like they're having to replace what they have out there, but based on tariffs. All right. For all of you out there, thank you for watching the Quasar Markets live show. You got a chance to see a little bit of the markets, see how I look at the markets, and we'll have Howard back here tomorrow with myself. And look, if you have questions out there, come hit me up. You can see I have QM Big Beat is my Twitter handle. You can hit me up there. My email address is Steven@Quasar Markets. If you have questions, you want to talk to me, hey, I'm there for you. All right, from all of us here at Quasar Markets here, see you tomorrow.